In today's video, we are going to transform this dress form into something magnificent for the holidays. So let's get started. Here is the dress form, and it normally has an antique dress, but we are going to jazz it up for the holidays. I brought a few supplies. I grabbed stuff out of my garage. I keep lots of trinkets and different things, but we for sure have clippers, wire cutters. I have some wire, lights, and just little trinkets and pieces of Christmas decorations. We're going to be using garland. I'm going to start with one garland. It's 6 feet long, but what I need to do is fluff it. This is my first time doing this, so we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna fluff it a little bit before I get started, or you probably could do it after. So I saw this on an advertisement for a resale shop in my area on Facebook, and I just fell in love with it, and I knew I had to do it somewhere. And we had a form here at the mansion, and we don't do a ton of decorating upstairs for our holidays, so I thought this would be perfect. I hope it turns out. First, I'm going to wrap this around the back side, and I'm going to tie it securely, meaning just wrapping the garland on itself so it's secure. That's the first thing I'm gonna do. Whoop. So I have the waist. Now I'm gonna wrap it again. Then I'm gonna leave a tail. See that? I'm gonna leave a tail. And I'm going to take a piece of the garland to secure the tail, and I'm going to let that hang down. So I'm going to fluff this other stuff here. Now I have a second garland, and here's where I'm going to decide how long I want her dress, and that's about how long I want it. I'm going to tuck it in, and again secure it with a piece of the garland from the other garland. And I'm gonna let it hang. I know it's not fluffed. And then I'm gonna scrunch it and make a U, okay? So basically what I'm doing is creating, I'm gonna call it tendrils, but I'm creating her dress by looping the garland and then securing it to the garland before. Now when I'm done doing this, I'm going to go all around, then I'll come back and I'll fluff it and show you what that looks like. So far this is 4 6-foot garlands. And to me, this isn't going to be enough because I didn't make it around back. So maybe one more, and I'll have to come back to that. We might have one in our storage closet here, but I'm going to go ahead and start fluffing. We've fluffed all the pieces that we have. So this is 4 6-foot garlands. I got these at the store for $6, so I spent $24. We don't have enough to do the backside. I fluffed it, which took a little bit of time to kind of fill it in, and I think I'm gonna add almost a skirt underneath. This is actually a window scarf. It's a sheer. And what I think I'm gonna do is create a skirt underneath and just see what that looks like. I've got these twist ties that look like garland. I'm gonna use that to attach the scarf to the tree because we don't wanna see where it attaches. So I'm gonna tuck that up under here. And I I think I'm just gonna loop it from underneath to underneath. So what I wanted the scarf to do was really give it a little flow underneath. Next, we're gonna add lights. I'm very impulsive in the things that I do, so I'm trying hard not to do that. Plug in your lights and make sure they work before you do your whole project. I went ahead and attached it to the extension cord and plugged it in so that I can start from the back and work my way around. Here I have some picks and little pieces off of different trees, and I'm gonna use them to fill in. Little pieces I'm adding in to kind of fill in the gaps and the holes before I add the bling to it. Now I'm gonna add some pearls. This is just string pearls. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna loop it and tie it with those garland ties. I don't have a lot, so I'm just maybe gonna make 2 loops with this. I have these beautiful picks. They have little claw attachments on them, and so I will kind of stand back and look at it and see where I want to add these in. All right, we're coming to details. Now, since this is the dressing room of Lainey from the 1930s, I do want to add in some elegance, little historic value, maybe a little touch of Victorian. So I'm going to take, this is a scarf, and I'm going to wrap this around and add some antique pieces and see if we can give it sort of an elegant antique finished look. So here were those picks, and I just stuck them in different places, added a few baubles to fill in. I think it's turned out gorgeous. So here is the finished product. I am in love. I absolutely love it. And I think that any one you do is going to turn out different and unique. I added some antique elements to throw back to the history of the house. Our house is 150 years old here. We are open to the public, so I needed to do this with all artificial greenery because we keep our decorations up for about 2 months. I think you could do this with real stuff and it would be amazing. I added in some things that I brought from my own home, my grandmother's shawl, added some lace. I am gonna add a pearl collar up here that I don't have with me today. And again, I showed you all the different layers. You could do this where you could lift this up and store it. I didn't do that. I'm kind of impulsive. So I just grabbed everything and started working with it. So it's really probably going to be a pain to take down if I can figure out how to lift it if I'm going to reuse it next year. I just added elements that I had in my garage in my stock. The only things that I did buy were the 4 garlands. So I spent about $24 to put this together with things that I already had. Now again, I didn't get to finish the back side. Here, no one's gonna see it, so I probably won't. My lighting is very light. I just wanted it to have a glow. It does sit behind this window, and I put this up here because the light isn't so good. I want you to see it. So I'll take you around in detail. So I've spent close to 3 hours putting this together, but I was starting from scratch. I had only seen one in a picture, and so I really just sort of went with how I thought. I think there's much more efficient ways to do it, but when you're creative and you have a vision, you just kind of want to start working and see how it goes. So this was a great first experiment. I really liked the way that it turned out. I think you could do so many different themes with this, but ours really is a throwback to history, to the 30s and 40s, which is what the room we're in is the dressing room for Lainey Lyon Brewster. She was part of the DeBary family. And when I add that collar, I think it's just gonna be stunning. So I'm so excited. I encourage you to just experiment and play and have fun with doing something different like this.